Somalia President condemns leader Peach attack. ATMIS imposes total lockdown on Halane camp, citing security operations. French-US soldiers carry out joint military drills in Djibouti. Plus, UN urges investigation of 168 killed in Darfur. Hello, welcome to our program. At least 6 people were killed, 7 others injured after an explosion at a restaurant in Mogadishu's Leader Page. Somalia President condemned the attack and extended condolences to the families who lost their loved ones. Somalia President Mohamed Abdullahi Farmajo and other senior government officials have strongly condemned Mogadishu's Leader Page attack, which claimed the lives of at least 6 people. The blast occurred in front of the restaurant where Somali lawmakers had iftar earlier in the evening. Government officials confirmed that Somali Police Force Commander General Abdi Hassan Hijar, who was at the restaurant at the plant, was unharmed. Al-Shabaab has immediately claimed responsibility for the attack. The group said it was targeting army officers and politicians who were having a meeting at the restaurant in Mogadishu's Abdul Aziz district. Al-Shabaab usually carries out attacks targeting government officials during the holy month of Ramadan, but this year it seems the number of attacks they waged against the government officials are small compared to previous years. The African Union Transition Mission in Somalia has announced plans to conduct a security exercise inside the Halane camp in Mogadishu from Monday, April 25 to Thursday, 28 April, citing security concerns. African Union Transitional Mission in Somalia, known as ATMIS, has announced that it has imposed a total lockdown on Halane camp, a heavily fortified facility in Mogadishu. According to a statement by the mission, the total lockdown will run from April 25th to 28th. This will be the second time the facility has been put under lockdown. The mission said the decision to conduct the exercise was reached in consultation with the Office of the Somalia Prime Minister. According to the mission, the lockdown of the camp will be imposed to ensure that the exercise is conducted safely and without interference. The operation of other international airports will not be affected by the security operation announced by the mission, as per the statement. The remarks of ATMIS aimed the elections of the parliament leadership were announced to take place in the vicinity of the Air Force hangar will be limited. According to the Joint Task Force of the United States Africa Command, the US and French soldiers have conducted joint artillery live fire operations in Djibouti. The United Nations has called for a probe into the alleged killings of at least 168 people in clashes in the Darfur region of Sudan. At least 98 injured in clashes between rival groups in Krink region of West Darfur on Sunday, in the latest bout of deadly violence to hit the Restef region. But we will be back after the short break.
Making documentaries is one of the most creative craft and challenging endeavors you can be involved in. It is an effective strategy to inform, persuade, educate, defend the perspective, and shed light on various issues, policies, and activities. At CBA TV, documentary production is our forte. We capture every TikTok detail of events in highest resolution to tell the story you care about, from politics to human angle, research-based content, educative and informative. We also help you project your story in a dynamic perspective that attracts the world views of the target audience, as there is no better or more powerful way to place the organization's values and achievements than to make an excellent documentary film. No doubt, our strength lies in these ventures, and we pride in many award-winning documentaries which have been earning accolades across Africa and beyond. Let's tell your story.
Welcome back again to our program. The United Nations has called for a probe into the alleged killings of at least 168 people in clashes in the Darfur region of Sudan. At least 98 injured in clashes between rival groups in Creek region of West Darfur on Sunday in the latest bout of deadly violence to hit the restive region.
At least 168 people were killed and 98 injured in clashes between rival groups in Creek region of West Darfur on Sunday in the latest bout of deadly violence to hit the restive region, an aid group has said. Meanwhile, the United Nations Special Representative Volker Perthes condemned the violence, during which homes were set on fire, hospitals attacked and goods looted. Adam Regel, the General Coordinator for Refugees and Displaced in Darfur, said almost 100 more people were wounded in the violence. Regel said that the latest fighting began on Friday in the Creek region of West Darfur. He feared that the death toll could rise. The aid group said that the violence broke out when armed tribesmen attacked villages of a non-Arab Masalit minority in retaliation to the killing of 2 tribesmen. Darfur, which was ravaged by a civil war that erupted in 2003, has seen a spike in a deadly conflict since October last year, triggered by disputes mainly over land, livestock, and access to water and grazing. There have been reports of Sudanese authorities deploying militia called the Rapid Support Forces, which was formerly known as Janjaweed. The Worldwide Committee of the Red Cross has cautioned of a quickly falling apart of the compassionate circumstance and called for the armed and debilitated to be permitted to look for help. About 2 decades ago, the Janjaweed carried out far-reaching killings within the Darfur locale.
The medical charity MSF, known as Doctors Without Border, says looting and 3 casualties have been recorded inside hospitals in Krenik and El Genin areas in the Sudanese region of Darfur.
Recent violence in West Darfur, Sudan, has struck medical facilities supported by Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières (MSF) in the towns of Krenik and El Geneina, highlighting the toll the increasing conflict is taking on entire communities. In a statement, Bakri Abubakar, MSF Operations Manager for Sudan, said the violent attacks started in Krenik over the weekend, and their teams received confirmation that the hospitals they support was attacked in Krenik. He confirmed that 3 people, including 2 medical workers, were killed and the hospital's pharmacy was also looted. He said MSF teams were not present at the facility at the time, having returned to their permanent base in El Geneina on April 19. It was reported that on Sunday, a Geneina teaching hospital, also in West Darfur's capital city, experienced a violent intrusion with shooting taking place inside the facility, including the emergency room. Bakri also said that 1 hospital staff member was killed and health workers, including those from MSF, evacuated. We are shocked by these attacks and send our sincere condolences to the families of those who have been killed. We condemn these deadly intrusions in the strongest possible terms. In conflicts, medical structures and staff are protected. This has to be respected by all parties to any conflict at all times, he added. On Monday, United Nations called for a probe into fracas between rival communities, which left more than 160 people dead.
Niger Parliament has endorsed the deployment of foreign forces of the territory to fight jihadis in a vote largely cast with 135 majority members out of a total of 166. The National Assembly accentuated in favor of sending foreign troops to combat the notorious terrorism in the Sahel territory.
In a vote largely cast by 135 majority members out of a total of 166, the National Assembly accentuated in favor of sending foreign troops to combat the notorious terrorism in the Sahel territory. Niger has been engaging in fighting against jihadist members with links to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State groups, which equally has the support of several Western countries such as France and the United States. Prime Minister Ahmadou Mahamadou said going into new partnership in no way calls into question our sovereignty over the national territory. While pointing to the recent vacation of French and European forces from Mali, Prime Minister Ahmadou Mahamadou said it constitutes a major factor in worsening the security situation along the 800-kilometer border between Niger and Mali. Niger said it was prepared to welcome other forces in expansion to the special forces of France combined with U.S. military on the ground. In 2021, more than 800 casualties, generally civilians, were numbered, and 758 schools with 72,981 understudies were still closed on 31st January 2022.
And with that, the story of the Niger Parliament has endorsed the deployment of foreign forces on their territory to fight jihadists. We'll wrap up our program for this time. Thank you very much for being with us. My name is Hamse Daabjeerin.